Looks like I'm going to change things up this month. As you can see, I have a guest this time. This is my friend Alan. He's the person I go to when I want to brainstorm ideas, because often I'll be working on a book or a story, and I've got quite a bit of ideas running around, and then I bounce them off of Alan, and then he says stuff, and I come up with great stories because of that. So thanks, Alan, for being here.
You're welcome. It's fun. I enjoy doing it.
Yeah. And then the second change this time is that we're going to look at calls for submissions. So basically, I'm going to read through some calls that I've found that I think are interesting, and Alan and I are going to react to them. All right. So the first one, the publisher is Cast of Wonders. The due date for this is May 31st. The pay rate is 8 cents a word, or $100 for reprints. So 8 cents per word is professional rate. That's a good rate. And the fact that you can have a story that you've already had published and still get paid for it, that's great, because all you're really doing is just going through the submitting process. I've done that a few times, and like I said, it's extra money. All right, the word limit is up to 6,000 words. The genre is young adult speculative fiction. So speculative fiction, science fiction, fantasy, maybe light horror. I think they prefer to stick to science fiction, fantasy for youth, 8 to 14, older maybe a little bit. Okay, and then what's great about these guys is they do a radio play format. So this is an audio. They're going to have someone read it out loud, or maybe even kind of turn it into a play. So, I mean, if you're wanting to
play, okay.
It's what you write. I'm just saying that maybe they have other people voice some of the characters. I'm not exactly sure. I haven't listened to a whole one of their podcasts.
Sounds interesting.
But yeah, right? I mean, that's even better than just getting published.
Right.
Because then someone's going to read your story out loud. So you could go and listen to it if you wanted. And that is a thrill to have your story being read by someone else. I mean, that's a great idea.
It really brings it to life, right?
It does.
Yeah.
And so that's an amazing opportunity. And like I said, it's pro rate. So you're not
That's pretty good.
You're not missing out on pay for that extra benefit. All right. So their theme for this call for submissions is banned books.
Banned books? Wow.
Sorry,
okay.
Banned Books Week. A whole week of banned books.
A whole week of banning books. Is it culminate with a book burning at the end, or?
It could in our story. I mean, if we were going to write one, we could
It feels
totally.
like that's kind of, where it leads to, right? Is you ban them and then you burn them. The double
Okay.
B, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Banning's not good enough. Burning's not. Okay,
Burn.
sorry. So, all right. That's a good idea. What if we went really weird, though? What if we went with the books themselves? The banned books were the characters.
Ooh.
Right?
So I'd feel bad for them. They'd be suicidal, wouldn't they? Like suicidal books. They emotionally banned themselves or
they
something.
would throw themselves into that fire, right?
By the end of a whole week.
So
I can't take it anymore.
I deserve to be in that fire. I'm such trash.
My pages aren't thick enough. I'm only a paperback. At least I'll burn well,
I mean, so I think that's what I would do if I was going to write for this prompt. I would go with that, and for me, I think a lot of the fun of it would be the titles, coming up with the titles for all the characters.
For all the characters.
Well, that's what they are. The banned books are the characters.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Right?
Oh,
Yeah.
that's true. That's a good point.
So come up with all those titles. Wouldn't that be fun? I mean,
Yeah. You could have old books, new books.
Okay. So
We all get
which old
depressed,
book
right?
do you think would be fun to be put out there?
To be banned?
Yeah.
Oh gosh, I don't know. Let's see. It has to be a classic, right? What are some of the good classic books? What are some terrible classic books that you've read? You're just like, I would never read. Of Mice and Men?
You know,
I mean, that's pretty emotional already, right?
I did read
There's
Mice
a lot
and
of
Men.
suicidal.
And it's sad, George and everything.
Yeah.
And reading it taught me what they were talking about on those cartoons. That got the guys like, my brother George. My brother George. Okay, so I finally understood that reference after I read Mice and Men. Yeah, you know what? Let's put Of Mice and Men there, because shame on Steinbeck for making me sad. I mean, he's really sad when he's got.
Yeah. You don't want to be sad when you read books. Those should burn.
Yeah, that one should burn. So
that one should burn.
So would it be suicidal?
It is. Have you read the book? It is suicidal.
Okay, you know what? It leads the jailbreak of Mice and Men. It's been banned, so that's like being in jail, right?
Ah.
And so it's the one that riles up the rest of the banned books, and they escape.
They've had it.
They've had it. No more.
Done.
We're going to
We can't
march.
be silent anymore.
We're going to march to the secondhand bookstore, or maybe the library. I guess that's the big goal, right? We're going straight to the library. We're going to march right in there, and we're going to make them put us back on the shelves.
You know what? I've just thought of another book.
Okay.
So the book from Harry Potter, the one that's alive and, you open it, eats everything.
Yeah. All right.
Nobody is happy with that book. It feels rejected. It's not accepted.
Yeah.
It would be banned. It would self-ban.
Should we write it from? I mean, if we were going to write the story, and I'm not, maybe that's the one I'd write from its perspective, its point of view, because you always want to kind of write from the point of view of whoever has the most
monster book, yeah,
whoever has the most to lose or the most to gain from the storyline. So for me, that's kind of like,
and you know what? There's so much knowledge in that book that those kids need, but they don't want to open that book. They don't even want to. They don't want to pet my spine. It's.
And
I can see why it's suicidal, hiding under beds and stuff.
If you pet the spines of your books, please seek help.
Right.
Yeah. Right.
Especially if it's late at night and you're alone. Don't be doing that. No petting.
Right. No. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
So maybe the books.
I'm sorry.
Maybe the books need to go in no petting section of the library, I guess.
This is the children's section, right? We can't talk about petting.
So there's our story. The Harry Potter vicious book listens to Of Mice and Men, who complains that all of his brother and sister books are still on the shelves. Yeah. They haven't been banned.
For sure.
And there's a break out of the banned section.
It's a vicious emotional cycle spiraling down, culminating in a large fire.
Gosh, and who's the bad guy in this?
The publishers. I don't know. The bad guy. Who'd be the bad guy?
No, I think the publisher sounds good, because then you can kind of get all of us authors who have been rejected. We can kind of project ourselves into that story and like, yeah, take that one, publisher.
It's the Of Mice and Men book. Really, he's playing two roles. He's tricking these depressed books into slaughtering themselves in the fire so that he's the only one left to read. And he'll be the only one left.
I love it.
It's good, right?
I love it.
It's a nice twist. It's kind of psychologically disturbing. It'd be great for kids.
Yeah, because we would like them psychologically disturbed. Anyways, so
I'd like to hear the video or the audio on that one.
Oh my gosh, yeah. All right, so once again, that's a Cast of Wonders. I will put a link in the description when I'm done. And if you feel like it, go ahead and check that out and submit a story, and You know what? You have our permission to go ahead and write the banned book story we just described.
Absolutely.
But maybe not.
And then send it to us, because
No,
we need a good laugh. We're kind of depressed now.
Okay, if anyone does write that, I'll be happy to record that and put it on the channel, and so that everyone can hear.
There you go.
All right, so the next...
As long as it's not too depressing.
Yeah.
We don't want to end up in the fire, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So make it sadistically uplifting. Is that even a thing? Anyway.
It could be. I mean, it might be now.
There's no limits. All right, go on.
All right. Our next call for submissions, because, they actually want a lot of submissions. They want one. The publisher is Third Flatiron.
Third Flatiron? Wow, okay.
Yeah, I mean, so I suppose we could do a segment on what that name means, and I didn't really look.
I'd kind of like to find that out now.
Yeah, I didn't actually do any research on
intriguing
where they came up with their name. All right, this one is due by June 1st. The pay rate is also 8 cents a word, which is prorate. They are looking for something between 1,500 and 3,000 words, which is a smaller short story.
Okay.
They want science fiction, fantasy, space opera, or hope punk.
Hope punk?
Yeah,
What is that? I
don't know. I did want to make sure to really point out that they want
punk.
Hope punk.
HOPE, hope.
Yeah. Hope punk.
Wow. Yeah, nothing says happy like leather and spikes.
Ooh.
A lot of hair gel.
Yeah.
For their...
Yeah, that's my happy spot. Yeah,
right.
Yeah, that's my happy spot.
And disturbingly, I've seen that happy spot, and I can't get it out of my head.
All right. So, with that in mind...
Yeah. Hold that image.
The theme is Rhapsody of the Spheres. So they want to give us a speculative story about what would make us happy right now.
And they call it Rhapsody of the Spheres?
Yeah. Rhapsody.
I'm not seeing the connection there. Like, what makes you happy right now?
Well, Rhapsody
of your, emotional sphere?
No, I think it means like dimensions or planets or
realms, right.
Realms of influence.
Yeah,
so what would make us happy right now? And keep in mind that this is not a political show. This is okay, and that's just going to be a given. That's just that's just going to be a given. We're going to expect that this story is going to include leather and spikes.
Yeah,
all right, so that's just. But you know what? We don't want black leather because it's hope punk. We want
pink.
White. No, I think white.
Camo.
Not camo.
Pink camo.
No. Okay, so what's bright? Bright yellow. We want yellow.
Like emergency yellow. That's pretty bright. Yeah.
That means we really strongly need hope, right? The more bright that yellow is, the more emergency yellow it is.
See what happens? This is what happens all the time. I get him off topic. I just want you to know this is a total tangent. It has nothing to do with what we're talking about.
It could be. I could really focus on the yellowness of...
Like a yellow planet? You go to the yellow planet and everybody there wears leather and spikes?
Okay, no, it's a movement. So whatever...
a yellow movement. All right.
They use yellow.
Yeah, but it's sci-fi, right? Sci-fi...
It could be...
What were the...
Sci-fi, fantasy, space opera, and hope punk. So...
I have no idea what that is. I'm totally guessing.
So yellow,
what that is right now.
Yellow leather and spikes, and there's some sort of a movement to make us happy. So what do we?
There'd have to be like smiley face emojis too, right? That's
of course.
Yeah.
So think of Mad Max with lots of smiley faces in yellow, right?
Yeah.
I'm
picturing that. I'm picturing yellow chaps with smiley face underwear, with that big emo, on the back side, right?
Instead of the buttocks.
The buttocks
The buttocks.
is very happy to see you.
All right, but we need some sort of what would make us happy, and let's not make it political.
All right.
Not a political thing.
No political.
What
makes people happy?
No, what would make us happy right now?
Right.
I mean, so
now,
we could talk about about maybe some things that
chocolate.
No,
come on, chocolate makes us happier. It's emergency food, right? Like,
okay, so we have these
chocolate,
hope punk people who now have a mission to deliver chocolate. Because but we still don't have. We kind of need what's going on that we need to be made happy, right? It always needs to be
suppression. They're being suppressed. How are they being suppressed?
Or repressed.
Repressed?
Like Monty Python.
Is it repressed?
Help me, I'm being repressed, right? So
they're working in the chocolate mines, but they don't ever get any. They don't get any of their.
They don't get any of the chocolate.
No, it goes to
that's unfair
the
working
invisible
conditions.
leaders of the land.
Yeah.
Miserable, and all they get is kale. Because let's be honest.
Okay, that's depressing. This is supposed
kale
to be hope.
Does not make you happy. Ever.
Okay.
Although I've had kale chips, and if you add tons of cheese and fry them, then you can, but then it's just cheese, right? So it's still not really happy.
Okay, this is a very silly storyline. I'm pretty sure
what do you expect?
that I would not write
Yeah,
it.
this seems like, is it supposed to be a serious submission?
Well,
I don't know if we can we do serious? What would
apparently not together we can't. But this,
not today.
To be fair, Hope Punk threw us off. I mean, as soon as that came in,
how do you not
scene,
focus on that, right? So.
So you know what? We don't have anything serious to offer on this. We have a fantasy story where the people work in the chocolate mines, but a brave leader hands out yellow leather uniforms with smiley faces.
The chocolate is wrapped in yellow with a giant smiley face.
And it says, "Have a nice day."
Yeah, maybe this kind of chocolate.
It's kind of like...
Hold on. This kind of chocolate that they mine from the chocolate mines is imbued with some sort of chemical. I mean, just because of where it comes from, right? And it makes you happy. Maybe it gets you high. I don't know.
No. We don't want to be pushing drugs.
Is this one young adult?
It doesn't matter. I don't want we're not
fun
peddlers. We're not dope peddlers.
No, that as far as they know.
not yet.
As far as you guys know, we're not.
Yeah.
If you know any law enforcement, we're not.
We're not, officer. We are not. Okay, I think we're not going to get any real traction with that. So just again,
it's still interesting though.
No, it would be. And if I was in a serious mood,
yeah, you really could go. Okay, so
they want.
I can't get off the Hope Punk thing. So I've got to. I got to focus on hope.
Rhapsody of this. Hope.
Punk is the setting.
Right.
Like steampunk is probably what they mean.
Yeah, I'm sure that's what they mean. So something like...
you could start with...
Something like Johnny Mnemonic or...
Yeah, right.
Who else?
I love the steampunk setting. I mean, I love the style and all that. It's great. I mean, you can go so many places with that, but what would be...
What's the one with Rutger Hauer? What's the movie with Rutger Hauer?
Rutger Hauer? Is it Rutger or Rutger?
It doesn't matter. We're not going to argue for 5 minutes on how to pronounce his name, okay? With the androids.
I don't know. I don't remember.
Blade Runner.
Oh, Blade Runner, yeah.
Okay, so I would think punk is something along the lines of Blade Runner or Johnny Mnemonic, something like that. Mad Max is really post-apocalyptic, but it does include a lot of leather.
You could start with somebody in the slums of the city and work their way up to a prominent position or...
Right.
I mean, there's so many... It's almost too broad. There's so much stuff you
Okay,
can do.
so
with that, right?
so we start that. We could set the world, make it very. Those worlds already are dark, right? Visually in those movies, they are dark, and the settings, and maybe it's just a matter that a person says it's, happiness is a frame of mind, right?
Yeah.
And he does start wearing that yellow. So I know that was a silly idea, not yellow leather with spikes and studs, just yellow, right? And smiles. Maybe we don't do the smiley faces because, that's kind of culturally ingrained to trigger us to think
that's too
funny,
silly. It's
right?
too silly.
But he could have a campaign that talks about smiling, that just the fact of smiling is going to make you feel better. Even if you don't feel like smiling, if you smile, you do feel better. So that's the thing.
That's
so
true.
you could totally go serious with this, right? And use that silly element of yellow. And now it's not silly because we are talking about things.
It's bright.
It's
and if
bright.
you're down in the slums of the city where there's no light, maybe the yellow represents, a lot of things to you, right? Peace, hope, the rising up.
Yeah.
There's
okay.
There's some good backgrounds there. You could actually do really well with that. I know we're being ridiculous this morning, but
All right. So there is a way to take that silliness and turn around and get something good with it. And what would make us happy right now? Well, in that, it just getting together with people who, okay,
are like-minded.
Or like-minded who want to look on the bright side of life, which is a song from Monty Python. All right.
You can't do that. You can't. We're trying to.
All right, so you don't
now
say
we're
that.
back to the
No, I don't say that. So
gonna...
the idea is, what would make us happy right now is if we could spend time with people who are looking for positive out of life, even if most of life is currently in a mess, in a flux. That the government is wacky and the economy is bad, and it seems like government's overreaching their authority.
I've got it. It could be, you could do it from the storyline of two friends. One friend who is perpetually hopeful, uplifting, always sees the positive, and the other friend who is not.
And
it's from that perspective, right? It's got to be from that guy's perspective where he wakes up dreary, his life is garbage. But then he gets with his friend and somehow it becomes better in whatever way the story goes. And it could be really tragic. Situations.
So he has to kill his friend
really
because the police are on their way and he knows that his friend won't do well in prison. Oh, wait.
That's really dark.
That's Of Mice and Men.
Oh, yeah, that is. Oh, my gosh. I totally missed that. You're right. That's totally it. Which is why you shouldn't read that book. It's really depressing.
Oh.
It's actually a really good book.
All right, our last one, if we can get through this.
I doubt it.
The publisher is Crystal Lake Publishing.
Okay.
As in, isn't that the place where all of the slasher movies take place? Jason?
Crystal. Oh, you're right.
So...
Isn't that Crystal Lake Camp or whatever? That's like
Camp Crystal Lake. So I'm not sure if they're associated with Jason or not.
Maybe Jason's turned a new leaf.
Yeah, that's it, right?
he's reformed. He went to group
and now he's
therapy.
And now he's a camp counselor.
Yeah,
that's a great story.
He's trying to face his demons by being a camp counselor.
Yeah, okay.
I'm liking that.
All right, and their submission, call for submission, will not fit into that call.
Dang it!
Thank goodness.
A good story.
No, it's
really
not.
Kind of liking that one. The camp counselor.
That's our
Jason,
bonus
camp counselor.
That's our freebie bonus idea. All right, so this is due by June 1st. The pay rate is 1 cent a word, so it is lower, a lot less. However, you are still getting paid, and that's good. The word limit is between 2,500 and 7,000, so there's a lot of room for you to write something a little bit smaller or larger. 7,000 is a pretty decent
sizable,
size. Yeah, that's pretty. That's going to be about 10 pages, I think. Yeah, you know what? I'm not going to worry about the math right now. What's 7 times 4? 28. Should be about 28 pages. There we go. All right, and the
Don't
genre.
put me on the spot with math. What?
Yeah, because
like,
you're
my mind went totally blank. I was like,
because you're an accountant and math is
yeah, but I
very
use calculators. Who, you know. It's not going to fill people with confidence, is it? I don't know.
Good thing we're not promoting your tax business right now.
No.
All right, so the genre is horror.
Oh, see, it does match.
Yeah, and the theme is dead letters. And what they
letters.
Yeah, what they explain is stories written as letters, journal entries, transcripts of radio broadcast, newspaper clippings, text messages, etc. So this is why I included this one. It's such a fascinating concept. I mean, so it could be something like you pick a book out of the library and you open it up and there's a note in the book, right?
Yeah.
But that person's dead. So all of these are messages from dead people.
Or you're redoing your house and you tear a wall out and there's a body inside.
Let's go with that one.
And with inside the pocket is a note, but it's partially gone. So you only get partial clues.
Nice.
Because you have to have that mystery, and then they have to solve the mystery of who this person was.
Nice.
Who doesn't love a good mystery? That's not really horror, though.
No,
I guess it
that's...
could be mystery horror.
Yeah, you'd have to... So,
and then you find out at the end that it's really you that's in the wall.
No.
Come on.
No. They do that all the time.
Okay,
so,
fine, whatever.
So mystery would be you find that, and it turns out like this guy worked for Al Capone, and he hid like $1 million somewhere, right? And now the mob comes after you. Now, if it's horror, it's kind of the same story. You find out that this guy robbed a witch doctor, or I don't know.
His body is cursed.
And his body is cursed. And now that you have the note, the curse is on you. So the dead will come and after you, and they'll haunt you, and they'll try to kill you because they want to protect.
He bricked himself up in the wall. That's what happened. This guy went completely nuts. Yeah, and he bricked himself in.
No, he did not.
You find a trowel and everything. Death is preferable to his life is the point, whatever that is.
Why would you break yourself up in the wall? Oh, to protect other people from being cursed.
Yes. That's not too bad, right? It's got a really twisted evilness to it.
Yeah,
psychological.
Yeah,
it's like psychological.
And it's supposed to be horror. So it's reminiscent of is it The Telltale Heart?
Yeah. By the beating heart in the wall. Edgar Allan Poe.
Yeah, I mean, so you could definitely go off.
It's
of
always
that.
a good classic, right?
Right. I mean, so you have
Give it a
similar storyline or premise in a way, right? So
yeah, that's not bad. I like that.
Okay, I'm not sure I'm going to come up with anything better. I kind of like that too. So yeah, this guy has wronged someone who has the ability to affect the dead and the spirits of the dead.
Voodoo. Voodoo's good. And
the
put
Voodoo
it in
King.
New Orleans.
The Voodoo King. Oh my gosh, here we go.
It's got to be New Orleans.
New Orleans.
And the voodoo guy has to have one of those top hats.
Does he have to?
Yes, absolutely. Have you seen a voodoo picture without a top hat? No, it's not the same.
Okay.
And it's like, where's his hat? Has to have that.
And
I'm just saying.
So I've been to New Orleans twice.
Really?
And yeah.
Is it nice?
I'll tell you, probably the best food I've ever had, I had in New Orleans. Or Nolans, as they pronounce it down there, or at least the signs. I go into the restaurants and say Nolans, and apostrophe, whatever, Walins. All right,
anyway.
So yeah, the food was great. So I think there should be a food element in this.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
that's not bad.
Maybe
You
he
have
works.
to brew something up and eat it.
Ooh, maybe he works in like a sandwich shop, and they have like devilishly good food.
A sandwich shop?
I had some really
That's
good.
not really.
I had some
Sandwiches, New Orleans? I would think. I mean, you got to go jambalaya, right?
Oh yeah, Gator.
Gator sandwiches. That could be the name of the sandwich shop.
Gator sandwiches.
Gator,
No.
Gator Witch.
Gator Witch. There we go.
Gator
So
Witch.
the voodoo guy that owns Gator Witch restaurant.
It's just a front. I mean, in the back, he's, sells his cursing services. I don't know. Maybe the guy goes there to get help from the good voodoo guy. I don't know. Is there a good voodoo?
Well,
Is there good and bad?
we could make
white and witches
make
kind of
one.
thing or something? Yeah,
but this is horror. So the premise
so you can't.
the premise of horror is no matter what you do, you fail. And if you watch horror, you'll kind of see that, right?
Even
hero,
at the end, when you think you're done, boom, still alive.
Yeah.
Jason,
So the first,
Jason, the camp counselor, is still alive.
Well, in the first
He's
one,
good now.
no, in the first one, it was his mother who was doing the killing, right?
It was so good.
And then she gets killed, but then Jason
the
comes
kid
up out of the lake,
water.
right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's the premise of horror. So we don't need a good guy.
And you have to have, it has to
a
be
good
slightly
voodoo.
ridiculous because, I mean, really,
Because we thought of it.
the kid's living in the lake. He'd be fishing.
You mean that's
It
not
just-
true? All these years I've been
No,
thinking.
Randy, that's not true.
I've been thinking that's true. Okay, so we got a
All
premise for a story, and it's once again kind of silly.
Totally silly.
And you're probably
Well, it's kind of silly, but you can make that.
yeah, we can turn that around.
Yeah.
You're wondering, Randy, how do you actually get anything good out of these sessions with Alan? And
Hours. It takes hours. And a lot of tangents. There's a lot of tangents.
And we're not just, I mean, I got to be fair, we're just having fun with this right now. So that tends to lead us down the silly path.
Right?
All right.
It is kind of hard not to be silly.
So that's 3 calls for submissions.
Those were all good.
Those were all, yeah, that's why.
It was interesting,
So, and that's going to do it for this video. We're going to do another one of these this month, and I hope you'll tune in for that. Until later.
See ya.
Bye.